Well, it was on that little beach right behind there that the celebrated knight Tropez landed, giving his name to the village of Tropez, of course. Well, Maurice here. People used to say he landed in a sorry state, poor man. And as Maurice says, he'd fallen in with the wrong sort of people. He'd met with the Emperor Nero, who later had him beheaded, who packed him off in a boat with a dog and a rooster out at sea on the coast not far from Florence, and he drifted and veered off course to here.
He followed the current.
He followed the current and landed here, poor man.
Yeah.
They even say about the dog and the rooster that still were with him that the rooster gave its name to Cogolem, the neighbouring village, and the dog to Saint-Maxime. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
And ever since, life in this place has been a permanent, never-ending saga. To wit, look at my friends here. Marius, who spent his whole life here with his hurdy-gurdy. Remember?
Yeah.
When you had it cranking up there?
Miss Tanguette.
Miss Tanguette. Tropez is a place where...
Love is an endless day. Get ready to match the best dancers.
That's
She
it.
loved hefty guys with tattoos all over.
She loved hefty guys with tattoos. There were 21 Spanish galleys besieging Tropez. We held on from the top of the citadel.
We did.
Right, did we win?
We won.
We won.
The going was rough, but we won.
The going was rough, but we won. Anyway, Tropez has meant painters, as you were saying before.
Oh, yeah.
It's meant writers, such as Colette, of course. Brigitte Bardot came much later, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Righto.
True enough.
Lovely sitting here. Hey, Pierre, this is the right size. Because in Tropez, if you ain't got a Harley, you're nothing. Now I've got it, I'm keeping it. Right behind me, this square, it's for the elite. This is where all the movie and pop stars inevitably come to play endless bowl games. Because Tropez is the place for boules and girls. Yachts and beaches. Tropez is extravagant, it's inordinate, it's super exciting, Yeah, that's the word for it. And since I personally need quiet and peace of mind, I'll move on to the real world and join my pal Christophe Leroy, who lives almost next door.
Goodbye, madame.
Goodbye, and thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. Goodbye.
I'm ready and willing. There. Ah, dear Christophe, here you are. You look very smart.
How are you?
You've lost weight. You're handsome.
Long time no see.
It's been ages.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Fabienne. Saint-Tropez isn't a village like any other. It's a holiday village. So when I made up my mind to champion my beliefs about cuisine here, I thought either I wed the place and try to do something serious or I go elsewhere. So when one is in a place like Saint-Tropez where people have magnificent homes and that's the chance to prepare lovely parties for them and lovely dinners, I said to myself, we'll start with a place like La Table du Marché, this market table for greedy people where you can eat at any hour. Have croissant at 7 in the morning, get all sorts of snacks at 10 for lunch at home, and also in the evening a nice spit roasted chicken with macaroni cheese.
Here's the roast chicken, man.
Yes, my friend Jean-Louis. We're open 365 days a year from 7 a.m. till 12:30 at night.
You never close.
Never. Cheers. Anyway, I'm glad to see you in Saint-Tropez.
I'm glad to see you too.
Your health.
To your health, young lady.
Cheers.
Well, Jean-Louis, let's get on with the job.
Let's get on with it.
Okay, what will you prepare for us today?
A nice little tomato and basil tart. Christophe Leroy has had it on the menu from the start.
Yes?
He loves it, so a tomato and basil tart it'll be.
Let's get on with it.
So, this tomato tart requires 2 tomatoes per person. We take off the peduncles, we peel them. First cutting a slight cross on the top to help us peel the skin more easily. And we dip them in boiling water.
Very clever idea.
We count up nicely to 10. We take them out, there, and immerse them at once in cold water. Icy water. That's it. There.
If you counted up to 15, it would still work, right?
Yeah, quite so, quite. Now we'll seed them, cut off the seeds, all the flesh with seeds. It's very important. There mustn't be any seeds left. Now let's prepare our flaky pastry. A small slab of it that you can buy ready-made. You'll easily find it nowadays in the shops, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Ready-made pastry's no problem nowadays.
I have this circle, which I've bought, 6 centimeters wide. That's number 6, which would be, I guess, as wide as a dessert plate.
For instance,
A small dessert plate turned over would also do to cut up the flaky pastry.
sheer common sense.
That's it. We only prick the center, never the rim of it.
To stop it from rising.
There.
And have it look like a roller coaster.
There are 2 rims now, 2 tomatoes in the center.
A little tomato puree,
A
right?
little tomato puree we've
The
prepared.
usual tomato puree with some garlic and shallot, etc., which has been reduced. That's it.
Some of it in the center. There.
The yolk is for glazing the tart.
It'll glaze the tart, right. Well, I'll always add a little trickle of water to it. At least that's my own idea, just a trickle.
And a dash of salt.
Just a dash of salt there. And we mix it. That's it.
That'll glaze it.
That'll glaze it. We brush it over. We spread it, but avoid the rim.
An artist's job.
That's it. Now I'll have 2 quarters of tomato in the center.
Yes.
And have some volume for the outer tomatoes and for the cooking. There.
Into the oven.
Into the oven.
Into the oven it goes.
The oven at...
Go ahead. How hot?
200 degrees, 200 degrees.
The oven at 200 degrees, don't forget.
And when the pastry is well risen, I lower it to 180 degrees to have it baked through.
Let's get on with it, dear Jean-Louis.
Here we go. That's it. There we are, our nice tomato tart, nicely crusty, nicely hot.
Appetizing,
It's
too.
almost ready to eat, we just have to add the pistou.
Now wait, before adding the pistou, you must explain what this pistou thing is.
Well, the pistou simply is some basil with a little olive oil,
Yes.
and some garlic, lemon juice, salt, pepper,
Well then, it can't be only that, just that. So
and we mix it all.
it's basil,
Basil,
garlic, olive oil,
lemon juice, I mix it all,
some lemon juice,
salt, pepper,
salt and pepper, and you mix it all.
and that's it.
And to top it,
I put 2 small leaves of basil to make it look good,
yeah, that's it, for decoration.
for decoration.
And there's our tomato tart with basil.
Ready.
Ready. Will you serve me a little piece?
With pleasure.
Not too big, please. Jean-Louis, not too big.
Well, just enough.
Oh dear.
If you please.
Once again, I have to sacrifice myself for you people, really.
I'll buy you a drink, it's right here. Well, you know, one can't ask for too much.
Right, no problem. With mayonnaise on it.
That's it.
It'll be ready for you in no time.
And some spicy sauce, too.
I had to feed on something because my energy was dropping, so I said, let's stop at Madeleine's. I'll have some caillette pâté and a few snacks they prepared for me, and an oyster or 2 to wash it all down.
I first came to Saint-Tropez 17 years ago. And the first people I met here were Madeleine, who was already here, Bruno. She was here every morning. And Jean-Pierre, who was the go-between everybody because he was a football star. He had played for Nice in...
An international ace, an international star.
Quite so. Well, now it's great. The girls have taken over the torch. That's what they've done. Now it's Magali and Isabelle together. They keep going Madeleine's restaurant, where you can eat the very best bouillabaisse, the best fish soup in the peninsula.
Here, have some caillette,
With a good Millau vintage.
while Jean-Pierre tells us some stories.
To tell you some more about my mother, she was the earliest fishmonger in Saint-Tropez. She had her stall under her own porchway and all that. We were a great family, all of us together, and then, well, it was great.
What are you doing? How are you?
We're eating some tomato tart.
We're not eating.
It's
We
90%
stopped eating.
great.
We're no longer eating.
You needed a lady partner for the White Night party. Ask Madame.
Will you accompany me, Annie? Is that agreed?
On Thursday
For the
evening.
White Night party?
Yes, Thursday evening I can.
Would you be my partner?
Friday
On
I'm not
Thursday.
free, but
She
Thursday
will
I
be
can
my
go
partner.
with
Fine, Bruno. Thursday night, you're already in white.
you. No, I'll be wearing something
Wow.
else.
Don't tell anybody. It'll be quite a fuss if people hear about
Same
it.
goes for me.
You too? So, we both are. Good God, I've got her visiting card.
That's one of my paintings.
Annie's a painter. Look.
Shall I scale it for you? Great, we'll do it. Good.
Well, Bruno, this is Saint-Tropez Fish Market. Every morning at 7:30 a.m. they all arrive. They first meet at the Gorille to have their morning coffee, then fight about who'll have the very best mullets.
Tell me, what do they mean by local catch? How many fishermen still work in Saint-Tropez nowadays?
There are 4, 5 fishermen, 4.
Not many, eh?
Permanently 4 or 5.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Where do they go exactly? In front of the,
Yesterday we went to Pampelone, but there's other places. There's a fishing area by Cavalaire, another one by Saint-Tropez, and a moorage at Pampelone.
Aren't those large craft a nuisance for the fishermen nowadays?
It becomes difficult because even by fair weather, there's too many people sailing about, with waves hindering us. You can never have a calm sea during the summer season. It's also difficult with all those signals by the shoreline. On the surface, we often get our nets damaged and...
Only at night you can work at ease.
Yeah.
Well, how about a drink now, Christophe?
To my friend Fuchs.
You can't come to Saint-Tropez without having a drink at Fuchs, don't you agree?
It's essential.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hello, friends.
How are you?
Fine, Chris.
How's everything?
Fine, how are you?
Olivier, still here?
My Bruno.
Time has no hold on you.
How are you, Pet?
Oh, pet.
Well,
Danny, I'll have my usual nice little drink.
here you are.
Let's clink glasses.
How's it going? Preparing
My white night.
your white night?
Thursday evening.
Rolling, is it?
Provided we have no rain.
Oh, no.
Why should it rain? It never rains here. The land where it never rains.
Friends,
Cheers to you.
yours. Cheers.
Anyway, besides all the world's stars coming here, we mustn't forget all the same that Olivier is a true native of these parts.
A true trapezian.
A native child of Saint-Tropez.
A Tropezian baby.
A friend of mine wrote, Hubert Huchon, remember Big Hubert? He wrote Saint-Tropez Cemetery, so pretty that the waves come and die at its feet.
Lovely.
Lovely, right?
We call it the Avenue of the Recumbent Patients.
You're no poet, you.
And this bar used to belong to the grandparents, no, the parents of Bua, the former mayor.
I remember him.
Right. And so, well, he was studying and they wanted to sell, so it was bought in 51. And my mother opened the restaurant in 50. That's how.
It's an institution.
That's
an
it.
institution.
If you like, it's, anyway, the oldest restaurant in Saint-Tropez, and it's been run by the same family for the past 54 years.
Where are you taking me now?
Now we'll go to the mill. The mill at Ramatuelle, you know. Mayen. It's cooler up there and a bit more quiet.
It'll do us good, right?
And prepare some nice dishes.
I'll say that after Madeleine's, Fuchs's bar, rosé wine, sardines, what have you, I do need some fresh air to get some oxygen in my lungs. Now, tell me about this house, which I myself have known for about 30 years. You must have been 3 years old at the time. I'd come then for a game of bowls just in front of that door. I wouldn't say you've changed it or transformed it, you've simply metamorphosed it.
I thought it was the right place to turn into a cook's home. And have a kitchen garden, you see. Sort of half inn and half country house, see? And try to make it a sort of haven of peace, that is both a place to have parties and also a place to have dinners like a pair of lovers. Or again, to go off on a jaunt for 48 hours and stay here with nice rooms and everything else.
Well, what about this atmosphere you've created, sort of halfway between Tuscany and Morocco? How'd you get the idea?
Well, it's travelling that makes you want such things. You know, a cook is like a singer. He expresses himself every day according to what life is like, for what he's feeling, for what he comes across. Well, right now, since I just love Tuscany and love Morocco...
Yes, I know what you mean.
I bring back some of my souvenirs, and as time goes by, one keeps one's home alive according to what one loves. I would never think of having the place decorated by an interior decorator.
Of course not.
What I want is the place to deserve living in it in a very simple way.
You feel good here. The place has a soul. Let's talk now about cooking, so as to...
I'd say Saint-Tropez is a place for holidays, so we must offer people a holiday cuisine.
Right.
When one goes to your region, the aim is to eat truffles, and one goes a long way to do so. But here people are on a diet. They've just had those huge meals. It's different. So we have a conversation cuisine, and it requires a lot of different dishes around the table, so that if someone else is late, there's no awkwardness. There'll be an exchange, sense of convivial interaction. And I've been lucky because I've been here 7 years, and I've had 2 conniving partners in the kitchen. The first is someone you know well, Gérard.
Yes.
Who's now working at your place.
Now working at my place.
Who's a charming guy. And nowadays I have Sato, who's been for 16 years collaborating with me. We were together at Maxime's, working for Maxime, see, with Sato. And there's a complicity. We're not a whole team. This is just a house, so it demands a cuisine which is, I would say, halfway between home cooking and high cuisine, see?
Halfway between home cooking and a good chef's cuisine.
Precisely. Such as, if you like simply fish on the grill, it's...
Simple things.
Simple things.
Well, those freshly fished nice little mullets are here. And Sato will prepare them in his own fashion. I mean, how will you be cooking them?
Yes, so first the mullets will be scaled and turned into fillets.
Yes.
Then merely fried, that's all.
Both sides?
That's it. Then they'll be served with a French dressing made with olive paste.
French dressing made with olive paste. That's a rather original recipe.
That's it. Let's first prepare the tapenade, the olive paste. Let's have a large spoonful of capers and 2-3 anchovy fillets. We put it all together and mince it very finely. Here we have some tapenade.
Made with olives?
Plain olives. There's 3 spoonfuls, large spoonfuls. You'll add a small spoonful of vinegar.
How much?
A large spoonful.
A spoonful, right.
Then you whisk up the olive oil. In a proportion of 1/3 of vinegar, 2/3 of oil, as usual in French dressing.
I see. The same as for a French dressing, right?
We mix it all.
Once we have this French dressing, we mix in the tapenade and the minced capers and the anchovies, and he adds some more olive oil. As usual, Sato's generous.
Now we'll slightly warm it up on the stove's rim. When about to be served, it must be lukewarm. Now let's get the garnish ready. We'll serve it with courgette.
So the garnish will just be courgette?
We'll prepare them like this.
That's an original way to cut up a courgette.
And the mullet fillets that were scaled, you can ask your fishmonger to do it.
There.
You take a fillet and carefully hold it to get the fish bones in the center. You pull out this one with a...
A delicate job requiring patience, I'd say.
Yes.
We bone the center fish bones.
That's it. Now we have to sweat the courgette. We'll add some poultry stock.
So, as soon as the courgettes have sweated a little, we wet them with some poultry stock.
As soon as it's boiling, you add a spoonful, just a spoonful or half a spoonful of...
When it boils, half a spoonful of butter.
Butter. Precisely to thicken the sauce.
And have it cooked for about 3 minutes.
2-3 minutes, not 2. One mustn't have it remain too liquid, so as to be able to keep the color of...
To keep the courgettes a green color.
The green of the courgette, see? Now we'll be cooking the fillets of mullet, which we'll carefully lay in the pan.
One side only.
On one side, yes.
Don't forget, we cook the mullets on one side only.
It lets us keep the skin, which is nicely crusty, but the rest will be...
Nice and smooth.
The courgette is now well done, though still quite green, and then it's...
The skin stays on, right?
It's nicely shiny. Very shiny.
Oh, it stayed a nice color. Very pretty.
Just for a very short time, I'll turn them over.
At the last minute.
At the last minute, just a little, very slightly brown, see? And since the courgettes are still hot, it allows it will still cook the mullets entirely.
There, that's the main course, you see.
Then at the last minute, you add
the nice tapenade.
The tapenade, like this.
Still lukewarm.
Still lukewarm.
It's ready.
So you have fried fillets of mullet with a tapenade French dressing, a very light dish, ideal in summer.
A light dish for the summer. has to be by the seaside while ogling the girls, because Saint-Tropez is not lacking in mermaids, let me tell you.
A nice margarita. This is Saint-Tropez, see?
Well, I felt a little moody, so I thought if I don't go and see Ange at the Voile Rouge beach bar, it'll never stop. So finally, look, he served me a nice little drink and see, to be back in high spirits, look. Yeah, I'm asking you, don't you think my spirits will rise to heaven this way?
Come on, cheers.
Cheers.
Come on, cheers.
Now we're at the Chateau Minuti, Bruno, a gorgeous estate producing the best wine of the Saint-Tropez Peninsula. Friends of mine for the past 17 years.
Here, rosé wines represent 70% of our production.
Indeed.
The remaining 30% are half and half red and white wines. This is a very light rosé issued from Sasso-Grenache vines and Mordèvre, which are red wine types of vine. And we thought a silver label went well with the color of the rosé, if you see what I mean. So there.
Yeah, it's very smart.
Well, silver and a silver color and rosé match perfectly. Nowadays, the evolution of wine in Provence on our peninsula and also everywhere else, I'd even say all over France in general, is due to the rise of very large industrial groups or to that of very wealthy French families who keep repurchasing wine properties.
Now here, I would like to add how lucky we are to find ourselves in an estate in the very heart of Saint-Tropez. In fact, we are, don't forget it, in a 65-hectare property, Bruno. And you may imagine how it can be envied, how many businessmen would envy this in a region where there's no limits to the value of real estate. And the amount of courage this family has had in keeping its production of wine when one realizes the financial benefit they could draw in other areas of production.
True enough.
Just one last little word. I'd say Saint-Tropez needed a real chef too, and you've really made your mark. So keep up the good work, both of you.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
So I told Sato, give us a very light dessert recipe for those young ladies at the White Night.
Well, I'll prepare roasted apricots. It's the full season for them, with an ice cream made with roast pistachio. Roasted. What takes longer is the pistachios. You have to roast them in the oven for about a half hour at 150 degrees. That's what takes longer, otherwise the apricots are just sealed with butter. That's all, see? To start with, I'll have the apricots cut in 4, like this.
3 apricots for 2 people.
Then we'll pour in the pan 24 grams of sugar, enough to caramelize them.
You may have noticed that Sato has a rather Japanese notion of grams.
Sorry, you have 50 grams of sugar and get them to be caramelized. As soon as it starts browning, you add your apricot quarters, like this. They're going to brown very quickly, so they have to remain rather firm, the apricots. So once the apricots are quickly fried, we prepare a juice. It will be mixed with the caramel and will turn into rather nice juice. So I add to it just 10 grams of butter to achieve its cooking. So the apricots are nicely colored and hardly roasted. Just take them out like this.
And it smells beautiful, a really nice smell.
And nicely glazed, it makes your mouth water. And now you add, to top it, a bowl of pistachio ice cream, like this. And over it, the roasted pistachios, slightly minced.
There you are.
That's it.
So, roasted apricots from the garden, pistachio ice cream, easy to prepare, a light, quick dessert. And if you have no ice cream, I'll tell you once more, you go to your ice cream man and you order a nice pistachio ice cream, and the trick is done, my friends. This is for my TV program.
You said TV would be here tonight.
She's a great singer, a great artist, and a friend too.
How are you?
A great chef. The king of the truffle on the Riviera. That's Bruno.
He spreads the greatest of all beauty's food. Come on, take a photograph.
I'll be spending the evening with Mademoiselle. Don't look for me, I'm with her. It's no use looking for me now.